Will you enter into a spirit of prayer with me? Gracious God, we thank you for the blessing of this evening and all of the promise it holds. We thank you for the planting the seeds of integrity, civility, and responsibility within the heart of each student. We thank you for California University of Pennsylvania, which nurtured these characteristics along with wisdom, laughter, and deeper self-understanding. Make sacred these moments we share together, and hear now our silent memories as offerings of thanksgiving. May every moment spent in study blossom into bold action for the common good, and may we never lose sight of the potential left in our keeping. Amen.
You may be seated. Good evening, and welcome to California University of Pennsylvania's 176th Commencement Celebration. I'm Dr. Bruce Barnhart, Acting Provost of California University of Pennsylvania, and it's my pleasure to introduce members of the Platform Party and several other persons here with us today. I will begin introductions with those seated in the back row and ask each person to stand as his or her name is called. And may I ask that you, the audience, hold your applause until everyone is introduced. Dr. Daniel Engstrom, Associate Provost and Associate Vice President of Student Retention and Success. Dr. Carol Sheffield, Interim Associate Provost. Dr. Stephen Whitehead, Interim Associate Provost. Dr. John Callis, Interim Dean, Eberly College of Science and Technology. Dr. Mohammed Yamba, Dean, College of Liberal Arts. Dr. Kevin Corey, Dean, College of Education and Human Services. Dr. Stanley Kamasic, Dean, School of Graduate Studies and Research and Associate Provost. Dr. Nancy Pinardi, Interim Vice President for Student Affairs. Dr. Charles Mance, Vice President for University Technology Services. Mr. Robert Thorne, Vice President for Administration and Finance. Mrs. Jessica Urbanik, Class of 2000, Interim Vice President for University Development and Cal U for Life. Mr. Craig Butzine, Vice President for Marketing and University Relations. The Reverend Jana Quisenberry, Pastor, California United Christian Church. Dr. Catherine Mitchum, Professor and Edith L. Trees Endowed Chair, and tonight's Herald. Dr. William Biddington, Professor, Department of Exercise Science and Sports Studies, and the Faculty Marshal. Ms. Alexandra Elizabeth Brooks, Student Government President, 2013 Class Envoy, and Graduating Senior. Mr. Michael Crozen, Student Member, Council of Trustees. Dr. Deborah Shanley, Class of 1974, tonight's guest speaker. Mrs. Geraldine Jones, Interim President, California University of Pennsylvania. Representatives from the Alumni Association who will be presenting alumni pins to the graduates are seated to my left. Mrs. Kathy Conley, Class of 1995 and 1996, Senior Director of Cal U for Life. And Mrs. Leslie Fleener, Class of 2008, Assistant Director of Cal U for Life. Under the direction of Dr. Hugo Aikach, the University Choir will now present the Anvil Chorus from the opera Il Trovatore by Giuseppe Verdi.
Good evening. University trustees, Reverend Quisenberry, Dr. Shandley, distinguished guest, parents and family members, and members of the graduating class of 2013. I welcome you to California University of Pennsylvania's 176th commencement ceremony. I would like to begin my remarks this evening with a special thank you to the faculty members present for their hard work and dedication on behalf of our students. You have demonstrated your commitment to teaching, mentoring, and challenging our students, and we thank you for all your contributions. Please, faculty members, stand at this time and be recognized. Thank you. I've been associated with this university for approximately 45 years. First as a student, both undergraduate and graduate, then as a faculty member, dean, provost, and now as interim president. As an alumna and an employee, I have always been proud of California University, and this great institution has been an important and large part of my life. In my current role as interim president, I am even more proud of this university and cognizant of its proud history, and the history yet to be written. I am proud of you, our graduates, for your hard work and the sacrifices you have made to get to this point. I am very much aware of the role each of you will play in the future of our country and our world. For over 160 years, this university has provided students with a great education, which then enabled our graduates to go out into the world after receiving their diplomas, just like you, our graduates here this evening, will do, and make a difference. They have changed lives, they've reshaped communities, and made the world a better place. And you will have the opportunity to do the same. Whether your master's degree is in education, or exercise science, or business, you can contribute significantly to the world around you. Remember to help others, to give a kind, encouraging word to those you meet, and to always count your blessings. Each of us has a responsibility to care for our fellow man, so I ask you to lead the way. Ponder how you can lend a hand or make a difference. No matter what career path you choose, those special moments you spend helping others will shape you into a great human being. As graduates, all of you will take different paths in life. There will be many opportunities for you and many decisions that will need to be made. Those opportunities and decisions will never cease, but each one will enhance your character, help determine your future, and add another experience to your life history. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "The purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experience." Be confident as you taste those experiences. Appreciate your talents and gifts and follow your dreams. Live your life vibrantly and enjoy every step of your journey. As you enter this next exciting phase in your life, we ask that you remember Cal U, the friends you've made here, the professors who have mentored you, the fun and joyful times you've experienced here, and I even encourage you to remember fondly those times which may have tested you and caused you to throw your hands up in frustration, because all of those experiences have contributed to the person you are today. Please know that your relationship with Cal U does not end here today. A new phase is about to begin. When you depart with your diploma, you will be an alumna or alumnus, and we hope you will have a lifelong relationship with this great institution. We will welcome you back to campus with open arms whenever you are able to visit. As you prepare to walk across the stage this evening, to be vested with the academic hood and receive your diploma, please pause for a second and give yourself a mental pat on the back. Take in the moment and bask in your success. You have worked hard, you have persevered, and you've accomplished something significant. Be proud of yourself. Think of the parents and family and friends who helped you and encouraged you along the way. And remember that this is truly the beginning of an exciting chapter in your life. A different one, of course, but an exciting one nonetheless. All of us here at Cal U, our trustees, administrators, faculty and staff, and your fellow alumni, are proud of each of you and your achievements, and we offer our heartfelt congratulations to you. May your life be filled with continued successes. Just enough challenges to make it interesting, and abundant joy. Congratulations. Thank you.
I am pleased to introduce Dr. Deborah Shanley, class of 1974. For the past 39 years, Dr. Deborah Shanley has enjoyed a rewarding career in public education. After graduating from California University in 1974, she was hired as a special education teacher in the Miami-Dade, Florida public schools, where in partnership with the Juvenile Justice Department, she started the first program for 7th to 9th grade students with behavior disorders. In 1982, while completing her doctorate at Columbia University's Teachers College, she was a resource room teacher at Clara Barton High School in Brooklyn. Dr. Shanley joined the faculty at Medgar Evers College of the City University of New York in 1985 and achieved full professor rank in 1993. She then served as Dean of the School of Liberal Arts and Education until being named Dean of the School of Education at Brooklyn College in 1998. Dr. Shanley developed 3 television series on WNYE TV that addressed issues in special education. She also hosted the call-in radio show that followed, answering questions and directing listeners to needed services. Her scholarly writing has focused on topics including women in leadership roles and educational reform issues. This year, she completed a chapter in Teacher Education Policy in the United States, Issues and Tensions in an Era of Evolving Expectations, with a colleague from West Virginia. It examines developments in urban and rural communities impacted by No Child Left Behind and other educational policies. Dr. Shanley has taken leadership roles in national collaborative partnerships, including the National Network for Educational Renewal, the Council for Great City Schools, the Middle College National Consortium, and Teachers for a New Era. She served with the National Parks Second Century Commission, which developed a 21st century vision for the National Park Service, and was co-chair of the Committee for Senator Schumer, charged with reimagining Floyd Bennett Field in Brooklyn. Her international experiences includes summer teaching in Cuba, Japan, and Thailand, and needs assessment projects in Hanoi, Vietnam, and Sierra Leone. In 1998, she was awarded a humanitarian award by the CUNY Consortium for the Study of Disabilities and the Medgar Evers College Worker Education Program. As the Senior Education Dean in the CUNY system, Dr. Shanley regularly shares her expertise in policy and practice with both the New York State Regents and the New York State Education Department. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Deborah Shanley.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. Sometimes I don't recognize myself. Is that me? Or at this stage of my career, where did the time go? To President Jones, Cal's talented administrators, distinguished faculty, invited guests of the dais, dedicated alumni, the best and brightest Cal U 2013 graduates, family and friends. I am honored to be the commencement speaker this evening and share with you what many of us now have in common. We are proud graduates of a distinguished university that prepared us to be leaders in our chosen fields: education, social work, business, mental health, and other areas of work yet to be defined by our ever-changing world. As Cal U graduates, we have what it takes: passion, purpose, strength, and courage to persist despite obstacles and setbacks that will continue to occur both in our personal and professional lives. My story is like so many of you sitting here tonight. I came from a large, close-knit family that worked hard for everything they obtained. My parents were high school graduates, my mother a talented hairdresser, and my father had a gift for gab, a love for the racetrack, and in between was a proud small business owner, sometimes of a restaurant, and later as a house painting team. I'm the oldest of 5, went through a Catholic school system, K through 12, in Danbury, Connecticut. It was in the late 60s and early 70s when my real journey began. I was a junior in high school, and the guidance counselor reported to my mother that I was not college material. My life changed at that moment. No one was going to define who I was or what I was capable of doing but me. And with the support of an incredible English teacher, Paul McPadden, I began to understand what it was about developing a purpose and pursuing a life that had meaning. When I was here at Cal, I discovered Viktor Frankl's famous book, Man's Search for Meaning, and embraced his idea about how everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitudes in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. And that's exactly what was nurtured for me here at Cal. You're probably asking, how did I end up here? In my junior year at Mount St. Mary's College in Newburgh, New York, I found this 2x2-inch announcement on a bulletin board in our main hall about scholarships for those searching to pursue graduate research and teaching in special education. California, here I come. As you can only guess, I was soon discovered it was not on the West Coast, but in Western Pennsylvania. No surfing and warm sunshine, but so much more. What I found here was an incredible sense of family and community, which I needed so much at that time. A faculty that was student-centered and were involved in research in partnership with schools and other community agencies across this area. There was an air of commitment to the common good, that sense of purpose that collectively we could make the world a better place, a sense of hope A strong spirit expressed best in Billie Holiday's lyric, "The difficult I'll do right now, the impossible will take a little while." The best example. Try to imagine the reaction when the mayor of New York City announced the perceived impossible task of implementing new smoking rules. No way, no smoking in the pubs? Impossible. No cigarettes in the neighborhood diner over a cup of coffee and a newspaper? Impossible. Well, back in 1974 at Cal U, faculty member, my mentor, Dr. Jay Powell, was already doing incredible research in measurement and looking for ways to stop smoking habits. As a hungry but naive graduate student, the first project I took on was looking at the impact of visuals. Diseased lungs used by the American Cancer Society on posters to see if they were a possible variable that helped change smoking habits. Of course not. Impossible. And it was just these types of research projects we engaged in with the Cal faculty that later led me to understand Mayor Bloomberg's strategy, which led to thousands and thousands of ex-smokers, including myself, and improved the air quality for everyone. The perceived impossible does take a little while. You see, here at Cal, the pursuit of deep understanding of knowledge was at the center of our coursework that led to future understanding of the contingencies involved, the reinforcers that maintained the high rates of smoking that maintained this behavior. This then led to deeper questions about the role of reinforcement and applied principles of behavior with children in classrooms. This range of scholarly pursuits, a series of opportunities to ask questions no matter how out there, the encouragement to fail in pursuit of finding another path of inquiry was the Cal U experience that I know. When we received feedback on papers, the faculty didn't spare us to not hurt our feelings, but rather were blunt on how we might have missed the mark. It was the age-old lesson that grounds me today. It's not about how many times you fall, it's what you do when you pick yourself up that matters. I failed sometimes in my pursuit of meaning, of finding something greater than self in my time here, but again, it was the Cal faculty that provided the guidance for us to find meaning in the most critical circumstances, which led to a development of resilience. This resilience has sustained me throughout my career. It was due to their insistence on academic excellence, sticking with an idea, and the understanding of the importance of leading a life of purpose at the same time. You see, it's not just about the observable and measurable at the end of the day when our findings were being analyzed. It was also the why. Why is it important to use data to inform our practice? Why do we continue to engage in this work? What is the public purpose and impact of education in developing a well-educated citizenship? Why should we find joy and create joy in classrooms, clinics, places of business, from giving to others, not taking from others? Because Cal U called the question. We were taught to invest in something bigger than ourselves. It didn't matter where it brought us, to a big city where I am today, a remote rural area, the Tony suburbs. It was about how each of us can collectively serve responsibly for the greater good. The belief in the power of community to make a difference. The encouragement of looking at challenging social issues through an interdisciplinary lens. This sense of hope for the future. That is what Cal U stands for and provided for me, this remote university in Western Pennsylvania. It takes places like Cal U that educates the next generation of leaders to make this nation great. It is having a sense of purpose, leading a meaningful personal life and career, and pursuing each with passion. With passion and a sense of humor, I would not be where I am today. There's no time to waste. Embrace a whole life. Continue to recognize the importance of love, commitment, and hope for the future. And never downplay the importance of your spouse, your partner, family, and friends in supporting you along the journey we call life. I wish you only the best the world has to offer as your journey beyond CalU begins tonight. Great possibilities await you. CalU will always be here to support you. And more importantly, congratulations on your successful accomplishment that we are celebrating this evening. Best wishes for all of you to choose to accomplish, all you choose to accomplish. Remember, pursue the meaningful life with passion and purpose. CalU has provided you with the knowledge, the skills, and the dispositions to be someone great. It is now in your hands. Thank you.
The University Choir will now present another selection for your listening enjoyment. Celebration by Cool and the Gang, arranged by Russ Shively. With a description of the academic hood and presenting the candidates for the degrees of Master of Arts Teaching, Master of Education, Master of Science, and Master of Social Work is Dr. Stanley Kamasic, Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and Research.
President Jones, members of the Council of Trustees, Dr. Shanley, members of our stage party, faculty, families, guests, and most importantly, graduate candidates. On behalf of the graduate faculty, I wish to thank all of our graduate candidates for pursuing their academic endeavors at California University of Pennsylvania. At its core, a university is about teaching and learning, and the lives of both students and faculty are certainly enriched in the process. We thank you and congratulate you on your achievement. Special congratulations to the candidates wearing honors cords and pins, which signify completion of graduate work at California University of Pennsylvania with a cumulative grade point average of at least 3.75. Congratulations. Candidates, commencement is a beginning, a time to look forward to new opportunities made possible through your achievements. To celebrate your achievement, we look back and honor centuries-old traditions with our dress and ceremony. Historians trace the origins of our academic dress back to the 12th century when universities first developed and scholars, both students and teachers, wore the dress of a cleric. Caps, gowns, and hoods may originally have been worn for warmth in unheated buildings, but as universities developed, official standards for academic regalia were established. The hood is the most expressive element of our dress, denoting the owner's school, academic discipline, and the degree. The school conferring the degree is designated by the colors on the inside of the hood. As you can see in this example, the colors from Cal U, red and black. The academic discipline of the hood is identified by the 3-inch wide band, in this example gold and yellow, which denotes the field of science. Currently, by intercollegiate code, there are more than 24 officially designated colors. The length of the hood denotes the degree earned. The master's degree hood is 3 1/2 feet long, the bachelor's hood 3 feet long, the doctor's hood 4 feet. Our hooding ceremony also continues century-old traditions. It will begin when our herald, Dr. Kate Mitchum, announces each candidate. As Dean of the Graduate School, I'll have the privilege of vesting each candidate with an academic hood as a symbolic gesture of your passage from student to master. Once vested, you will present yourself in full academic regalia to the president of the university to receive your diploma and to be congratulated for this significant rite of passage. Candidates, as you go forward into the future, I hope you will recall fondly this important day when we honored your achievements by honoring long-standing academic traditions. The degree candidates from the School of Graduate Studies and Research will rise, please. President Jones, the following persons have completed all the requirements for the degree of Master of Arts Teaching, Master of Education, Master of Science, Master of Social Work. They have been approved by the faculty and are presented for these degrees. Dr. Mitchum, will you please announce the specific curriculum and the candidates?
Master of Arts Teaching, Ashley Lynn Books. Bethany K. Brown. Jeremy James Burnsworth. Michael F. Camille Jr. Matthew Allen Carson. Mandy Jo Caesar. Antoinette Michelle Durda. Jessica Dubois, Megan Alison Duncan, Shane Edward Dushak, Holly Christine Gastick, Brittany Lee Hoff, Sarah A. Inks, Brittany Morgan Knapp, Daniel John Klukowski, Jeffrey A. Lenley, Kenneth J. Mildren, Johanna Mary Mongel, Caitlin Marie Morgan, Katie Lynn Ostronic, Valerie Lynn Poupard, Kirsten Marie Sears, Richard Brian Smith, Jordan Scott Smolensky, Elizabeth A. Springer, Master of Education, the Elementary Education Curriculum, Joseph Walter Frabel, Emily Elizabeth Gelati, Judy Landaverdi, Adam D. Myers, Monique Germain Wirtz, Ashley Ray Wise, Lindsay May Ziffel, the Elementary Special Education Dual Certification Curriculum, Jacqueline Renee Begley, Laura Lee Budd, Rebecca Marie Capoza, Jamie M. Clark, Vanessa Lee Hatcher, it's hooked. Patricia A. Hagee, Michelle Sue Helderline, Melissa Catherine Lawrence, Kayla Ann McLaughlin, David Blair Price, Katie Lynn Rapucci, Kelly Elizabeth Rogers, Tiffany Lynn Spagnolo, the Mentally Physically Handicapped Curriculum, Michael John Baranowski, Brittany J. Giovanelli, Justin M. Grimm, Chelsea Marie Mahari, Bethany Lynn Moslin, Lisa Marie Rosendale, the Reading Specialist Curriculum, Elizabeth Ann Dodola, Tyler Jonathan Geist. The school counseling curriculum, Kelsey Michelle Bracken. Paige Marie Butker. Catherine Michelle Klein. Sarah Kay Cole. Erin Lee Fleming. Samantha J. Faust. Rebecca Lee Gutowski. Tanner B. Jones. Kristen Dawn Mack. Krista Rosemary Scalfari. Christina Marie Trozy. Gregory Joseph Davis. Master of Science, the Athletic Training Curriculum, Brittany Lee Brown. Zachary M. Christie. Ryan F. Davis. Samantha Sue DeBias. Sarah Ann Florida. Kerry Lynn Foreman. Adam Robert Gross. Jenna A. Hansen Honeycutt. Stephanie Renee Yortadal. Alexander Manton Imhoff. Caitlin Shea Kamide. Caitlin Chase J. Krieger. Charles R. Moss Jr. Abby Margaret Pissarro. Erin Catherine Podrosky. The Business Administration Curriculum, Mustafa Kaid Agiloni. Jason Nicholas Baker. Nicole L. Billy. Autumn Ann Harris. Justin Peter Mern. Melissa R. Risco. Anthony Vincent Russo. Garrett Barnes Sturgis. Troy R. Swinehart. Brittany Elise Trainer. Stephen Christopher Turkovich. The Clinical Mental Health Counseling Curriculum, Shane Asadzandi. Eric Lamont Brown. Sarah Joy Edwards. Amber Lee Rechichar. Carly Ann Young. The Communication Disorders Curriculum, Megan Elizabeth Basinger. Catherine Ann Badillion. Carrie Ann Bleehart. Megan Alyssa Chadwell. Lauren Taylor Gregory. Caitlin R. Kachonik. Christina Hope King. Kelly L. Kirk. Kristen Marie Lavelle. Mallory Ellen Meinhardt. Kayla Lynn Newton-Sally. Marla Lee Pranzarone. Katie Nicole Pursglove. Marion Marie Resnick. Jessica Lee Reyes. Kelly Kathleen Schaefer. Jacqueline J. Toole. Bethany Darlene Villela. Nicole Kristen Zajac. Angel M. Zuko. The Community and Agency Counseling Curriculum, Kelly R. Clark. Douglas Michael Connor. The Exercise Science and Health Promotion Curriculum, Lakia S. Booker. Michael R. Hardy. Kaylee Marie Holloran. Linessa R. Jones. Tasha M. Marasco. Anastasia Marie Roberts. Jose Carlos Silva. Legal Studies, Law and Public Policy Curriculum, Carrie Garber Ali. April Davini. Kelly M. Havrilla. Tony J. Whiteleather. The Sport Management Studies Curriculum, Erica Marquita Ferguson. Jarrell Andrew Hooker. Lakeisha Nickens Gaither. Master of Social Work, Cynthia L. Andrews. Brittany Elizabeth Brenneman. Brian Dwayne Burden. Emily Ann Dorsey. Shannon Marie Fisher Yancey. Laurie M. Hall. Jonathan A. Held. Laura Lee Kaposko. Christopher George Lyon. Linda A. Mason, Jamie Lynn Moore, Anita M. Powell, Kelly Ann Reams, Marissa Jean Roth, Thomas J. Smith, Renee L. Urick, Jessie L. Ellen Vallimont, Anthony M. Vaughan, Marie Elizabeth Wolfe Petalowicz, Margaret Josephine Yunt, Stephanie Nicole Zippe.
President Jones, several candidates have requested to graduate in absentia. Their names are listed in the program.
Madam President, the candidates who have been presented to you have been certified by the faculty and the dean as having fulfilled all the requirements for the degrees of Master of Arts Teaching, Master of Education, Master of Science, and Master of Social Work. I recommend that the degrees be conferred.
By the power vested in me by the Board of Governors of the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education, I hereby confer the degrees of Master of Arts Teaching, Master of Education, Master of Science, and Master of Social Work, with all the rights, honors, and privileges which throughout the world pertain to that degree. Master's graduates, be seated, please. I would like to note that we have graduates with us this evening who have earned their degrees 100% online through our CalU Global Online program. These online students are distinguished here this evening by a pin that is affixed to their caps, and the pin reads, CalU Global Online. With this graduating class, we have students here this evening from across the United States, including Connecticut, Georgia, Maryland, and Virginia, who have taken part in the global online experience. However, graduate student Kaylee Holloran from Missouri traveled the furthest to be with us this evening. Welcome to Kaylee and all of our online students. To all our graduates, congratulations. You have our very best wishes for a wonderful future. Be safe and take care and visit us often. In conclusion, we will now sing the first verse of the Alma Mater, after which Reverend Quisenberry will present the benediction. I ask that the audience remain in their seats following the benediction and until the end of the recessional. Thank you.
California,
May God bless you and keep you, and in grateful response, may you love with passionate action, continue to pursue both knowledge and wisdom, and live lives of excellence and service, so that peace may be your constant companion and joy your life's song. Amen.
Forward, forward.